You wake up, you stare at the ceiling, it's quiet, too quiet. You shuffle through your morning routine, maybe some coffee, maybe the same breakfast you've had every day for years. Work, school, chores. You drift through it, just another faceless extra in a life that's going nowhere. Deep down, you wonder, is this all there is? Why does every day feel like a repeat of the last? Here's the harsh truth. You're not really stuck. You're just afraid to change. And until you conquer that fear, life will never be more exciting than it is right now. If you're ready to break free from the ordinary and live with purpose, this is the Growth Mindset Project. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a chance to transform your mindset and your life. Let's dive into a very real issue that keeps millions in an endless loop of boredom. Maybe your friends seem to have rich, vibrant personalities, hobbies that light them up, direction and drive that sets them apart, while you just float along, unsure, unexcited, and maybe even invisible in your own story. You're not alone, you're not broken. What you are is scared. Most people don't realize that what they call a boring life is really a symptom of a deeper fear, the fear of change. You might think you're safely playing it smart, avoiding risk, sticking to what works. But what you're really doing is building thicker walls every day, boxing yourself into a life you don't even want. Why? It starts early, often reinforced by family or culture, with the message, stick to what's proven, play it safe, don't break the mold. Maybe you've heard, it's not about what you want, it's about what's good for you. Or, we sacrifice so you could have stability and opportunity. Don't throw it away. So you make responsible choices. You choose practicality over passion. You prioritize security over excitement. You chase comfort, not fulfillment. And every time you dodge discomfort, you reinforce your belief that change is dangerous. You become a master at settling. You stay in the safe job you can't stand, stick with the major you never liked, socialize with the same people you've never really connected with. You look at others who seem fulfilled and assume they must be different, not realizing the only thing truly separating you from them is that they're not afraid to change. But here's the catch. By avoiding risk, you don't just avoid pain, you dodge growth. You sidestep all the feedback and discovery that comes with making mistakes, challenging yourself, and breaking routine. Human identity doesn't grow in comfort. It's forged in the places where you have to stretch, adapt, and risk losing what you know. If this is already striking a nerve, do me a huge favor. Like this video and drop a comment about what changes you're most afraid of making in your life. Let's face our fears together. Let's dig deeper. Why is it so easy to just copy a personality, join a group, and let that become your entire identity? Because it's easier than dealing with the isolation and uncertainty of discovering yourself. It's far simpler to say, I'm a gamer, I'm an artist, or I'm part of this political party, than to answer the question, who am I really? That sense of feeling like an NPC, just another extra in your own life, isn't depression in the classic sense. You can get up, you have friends, but you feel hollow, aimless. Because your choices are driven by external values, not internal desires. You do what's smart, not what's meaningful. Think about the last time you truly made a decision because you wanted it, not because you thought you should. Can't remember? That's a warning sign. You're deferring to a rule book written by someone else, your parents, your culture, your peer group. The cost? You never find out what you actually want or who you could really become. And the more you identify with groups or easy labels, the more you lose touch with your own truths. It's not wrong to bond with people over shared interests, culture, or experiences, but your entire personality shouldn't hinge on those things. You don't need a label to be someone. The reality is, identity begins when identification with labels ends. Real personality is built when you stop asking, who should I be, or what group do I belong to, and start exploring, who am I moment by moment, choice by choice, in situations that test me. Here's where the fear of change creeps in most insidiously. When you stick to your comfort zone, always opting out of situations that challenge you, you never get to see what you're really capable of. Personality isn't just a set of behaviors, it's the way you interpret experiences, the way you react inside, and how you ultimately respond. Every time you feel an urge to do something new, try a different hobby, speak up, even just say yes to an unfamiliar adventure, you might notice an internal resistance. That's not me, you think. What if I fail? What if people judge me? But that internal resistance is the wall between you and the person you could be. Here's a mid-video reminder. If this is resonating, don't forget to subscribe, like, and tell us in the comments how you plan to challenge your fear of change this week. Now let's get practical. How do you start to break free from this cycle? First, pay attention to your patterns. How does your fear of change show up during your daily routine? Is it when you wake up and automatically check your inbox instead of taking 5 minutes to plan your day? Is it in the tiny voice that tells you not to speak up at work? Is it in the choices you make about how you spend your evenings, sticking to the same scroll, the same shows, the same social circles? Second, start stretching your capacity in small but meaningful ways. Try something uncomfortable every single week. Maybe it's going to a class by yourself, telling someone how you actually feel, or just saying yes to a spontaneous opportunity. The key is not the size of the change, it's the willingness to experience discomfort and see what happens. Most importantly, understand that real change isn't just about doing different things, it's about noticing your internal reactions, challenging your interpretations, and refusing to operate solely from fear. It means allowing yourself to fail, to risk embarrassment, to discover new strengths and weaknesses. Every time you do, you build a sense of identity that's resilient, authentic, and uniquely yours. If you've tried to act differently without changing your attitudes, you've probably noticed it doesn't stick. That's because change isn't only about action, it's about the beliefs you carry. If you believe that safety is the highest value, then no amount of activity will help you grow. But if you start to value growth over comfort, discovery over security, then every small action becomes a test that teaches you something. And when you notice yourself envying people with more personality, realize that most of them aren't special. They're just less afraid to get it wrong. They try things. They fail publicly. They say yes to risky opportunities. And when the chips are down, they find out who they really are. Here's what you can do, starting today. Notice when you make safe choices for the sake of comfort, and deliberately choose discomfort occasionally. Start acting on what you want, not just what you think is good or right. And when you do step out of line, when you say or do something unexpected, pay attention to how the world responds. Use that feedback to shape yourself bit by bit. If you want to stop living as an NPC and start writing your own story, you have to become someone who isn't afraid to change, even a little. You have to risk making a mess of things to find what excites you, terrifies you, moves you. That's where identity and a truly interesting life begins. Thanks for watching the Growth Mindset Project. If you're serious about smashing your fear of change and building a life you love, check out our other videos on self-discovery and transformation. And don't forget to hit the bell so you're never left behind in your own life.